Hello everybody, hope you're all doing well. It's Lane here with MetaShackle. I just wanted to do a quick update on the XRP charts, since I have been reading quite a few things on X and a couple different places where people have been panic selling, calling for XRP to go to 75 cents, and we're hearing all the same kind of rhetoric that we do in times when the markets aren't performing to people's expectations. But overall, nothing has really changed. So let's not waste any more time and let's get into the charts. For additional information and exclusive perks, do consider joining me and the rest of our community on Patreon. So what we're looking at here is the XRP Daily Chart, and if you haven't seen my previous videos, what we're looking at here is a dragon pattern. We have the head up here, the front feet down here, moving up to the hump, down to the rear feet, and up to the tail. Now laced over top of this dragon pattern, we also have an Elliott Wave ABCDE descending triangle with our A, B, C, D, and the recent completion of our E wave. We also have a 5-wave move to the upside, of which this is wave 3, and at the completion of the wave E, we have also completed the wave 4, as you can see right here. The chart is showing a bullish divergence right here, which you can see between the indicator on the orange line and the price action here, of which we've seen a little bit of a reaction breaking to the upside earlier today. When zooming in on the charts, we still have not broken the wave 1 termination, which comes back here to the wave 1, so the pattern is still perfectly valid. Now zooming in here, we're going to take a look at the 15-minute chart really quick. So I think what we're actually seeing here on the chart right now is, since we saw this liquidation candle coming down right here on the 22nd, price consolidated sideways for quite some time. There was a slight draw on liquidity sweeping this lower liquidity right here. Price broke to the upside and then completely collapsed. So anybody who chased this on the way up has most likely been liquidated unless they were using very low leverage. So it looks to me like what we're seeing here is a wave 1 to the wave 2 termination right here. Now the wave 2 termination can only go up to 99% of the wave 1 beginning. And we've seen some nice price action today with the price coming back down. It didn't quite break below this point here, both of which bounced off of this bullish fair value gap. Price broke through the Gaussian channel and has been playing around on top of this bearish fair value gap, which through this area was acting as resistance and is now acting as support. You can see that the price formed a nice little wedge right here and is now starting to break to the upside. I'm not sure exactly how this is going to play out, but I have a feeling that tomorrow morning into about noon is probably going to be very interesting. But it looks like there's a very good possibility that we have started the wave 3, which would basically be a subwave of this larger primary wave 5. Now just swinging over to the hourly chart to kind of give you a better idea of what you was just looking at, since the 15-minute time frame is very hard to look at and get the proper context. But this would be where the wave 1 started, moving up here down to the wave 2 termination. So it does look like what we have started is this wave 3 to the upside, which would be a 5-wave move to the upside, all of which are subwaves of the primary 5th. With the primary 5th wave having started back here on April 7th, coming up here for a wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, into the wave 4 where we were just looking, up into the wave 5. Now swinging over to another chart, we can see that we have a little bit of space right here with the wave 1 termination. So if this is in fact a wave 2 termination here, and price action is starting a wave 3, then the price action cannot break this wave 1 termination. So this will give us information if for whatever reason the price breaks down and comes below this previous low right here, then we know that this is not a 1, 2, 3. So that's something very simple that we can keep an eye on to give us a clue of where we're currently sitting within the pattern. But as it sits right now, this completely qualifies to be a wave 1, 2, moving up into a 3, then a 4, and a 5. And when we put the fib levels on here, generally the wave 3 will move the length of the wave 1 up to the 1.618 fib. So you can see that if this is a wave 3, we can expect to be somewhere in this area perhaps if the price does move up, which could take us up into about that $3.15, $3.20 range. And by jumping over and taking a quick look at the XRP Liquidation Heatmap, we can also see that in that same area, about that 320 area that I was just pointing out, which is right in the range of the 1.618, we have the thickest band of liquidity on the chart sitting right at that $3.20 mark. This is on the 1-month chart, but there are a couple points of heavy liquidity concentration resting right through here, starting right at about that $3 mark, moving up here to about that 308, then starting again up in this range at about 312, heading up to that 320 mark and a little bit beyond it, up into about that 323, 324 range. So there is quite a bit of liquidity resting up in this area. And when you look down here, liquidity is getting fairly sparse, but there is a little tiny bit of liquidity resting right here below that previous low, which at this point I believe is the wave 1 termination on this candle right here. So that's really good that we have that, because if that price breaks down and takes that out, then we know where we stand with this being a wave 1 and a wave 2. But if it turns out that this is a wave 3, then I think there's a very good chance that we're going to end up in this area before pulling back for the wave 4 and the wave 5, all of which are subwaves of the primary 5th wave. So as it sits right now, I just wanted to make a real quick video to just kind of update you, let you know what I was thinking, because I know a lot of people have been panic selling. A lot of people have been freaking out. I must have read a dozen posts on X today of people just pulling the ripcord and getting out and calling for $2 XRP and 75-cent XRP, and the bull runs over, and there's going to be a big bear market until 2030, and just all the typical stuff that you read. But as it sits right now, we know there's 2 termination points to watch. The wave 2 termination right here, and the wave 1 termination from the primary 5 wave move to the upside. If this breaks, then this is not a wave 1 and 2. If price falls down and takes out the wave 1 termination, which is resting right here in this area at about that 265 range, and keep in mind this will vary a little bit depending on which chart you're using. And crypto tends to be a little more volatile than stocks do, so I do have a little bit of leeway in regard to the wave 4 and wave 1 overlap, as long as it's only candle wicks and it does not include the bodies. Now, I know a lot of people out there are very strict Elliotticians, but I do have a little bit of leeway because the crypto market is extremely over-leveraged. So as long as it's not a significant gap, say it comes down in here, just dips in a little and pops out with a liquidation candle similar to what we saw right here the other day, I'll have a little bit of leeway with a move like that. But if there is a candle body moving down in that area, then there's no bending the rules. But as it sits right now, I think there's a lot to be hopeful for, and we know what to watch. So knowing this, have a great weekend, everybody. Good luck, and have a good night.